Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super duper excited because I've been wanting to create another tag since I did my first tag. And my first tag was the part-time YouTuber tag. And I just talked about, the challenges and the pros and the cons of doing YouTube part-time. Whereas you still have your day job, you work a 9 to 5, you work whatever your day job is, and then you do YouTube for fun or just extra income on the side. So many people did that tag and it was so much fun to see everyone responding and talking to each other and starting conversations and just sharing, and I loved getting to learn more about my favorite YouTubers who also did the tag. It was very, very exciting. So I'd love to do that with another tag, and I'm calling this tag the hashtag Back to Beauty Basics tag. I've been so nostalgic for the last year, I think, just over old school beauty YouTube, before kind of the affiliate links, before things got to where they are now. And I know we're never going to go back to that time again, especially since we're kind of seeing the exact same thing play out as YouTube did, but it's over on beauty TikTok and it's happening 10 times faster. Part of that cycle is just exhausting to me, and I just want to take some time, walk down memory lane, and really go back to the basics. So I have 10 questions here. 9 of them I came up on my own, and then I fed those 9 questions into ChatGPT, and I had it spit out one more question. So as we're going through, try to guess which one is the one that was created by ChatGPT. And I'll tell you at the very, very end of the video. So make sure you leave your guess down in the comments below. Let's jump right in with question number 1. Question number 1 is, think back to the first time you ever felt the urge to wear makeup. What was your motivation? So I was a teenager that was really I was on Tumblr. I was totally into emo music. This was back when scene style and makeup and emo makeup and style was so big and popular, and I desperately wanted to be that. That's all that I wanted to be. So it was black eyeliner. Black eyeliner, it was winged eyeliner, it was smoky eyeliner, it was messy eyeliner. I wanted it. And I remember specifically, I could not actually put the eyeliner into my waterline by myself. So it was me and my best friend at the time were in the bathroom, and she was putting winged eyeliner on me and liner into my waterline. And it felt so weird the first few times I did it, but then I was able to do it on my own, and then it was black eyeliner forever. It looked so good. It was really messy at times, but I loved black eyeliner. And that was the very first makeup product that I used, and that was my motivation to really look at makeup for the first time, was because I really wanted a smoky black eyeliner. Question number 2 is, what was the first makeup product you ever owned? Now this is a little difficult for me because it was that random black eyeliner that my best friend used and then she gave it to me. For the life of me, I do not know what that was. But if I take this question to be more so what is the first product I actually purchased for myself, that I do have one. I did go to Sephora in college. It was actually a really terrible experience. I have a story time about it. If you're interested, I'll throw it up in the cards. But in that shopping trip, the first product I bought for myself was this Too Faced palette. This is the Boudoir Eyes palette, and this is the actual palette that I bought. I've not used this in years because I'm sure it's bad by now and I don't want to get an infection, but this is the palette. And for the life of me, I don't know why they never released this in their new packaging. This is such a pretty color story. If anyone can find me a dupe for this palette, please let me know, because I loved, I panned this. This is actual, I panned these shades before even, knowing what project panning was. I just used the shades enough to, completely use them up. But I love these shades, I love this palette, and I can never get rid of it because it's so sentimental to me. Question number 3 is, what was your first signature makeup look? And you would think it was the eyeliner, but it was specifically, winged eyeliner. I started doing a black wing, I want to say early high school, and I kept doing that black wing for years. It was only I think in my mid-20s is when I kind of stopped doing black winged eyeliner, but for the longest time I felt naked without having a black wing on, and it was so much fun. And then there were times where I was girl, what are you doing? It looks really kind of crazy. I'll throw some pictures up if I can find them. But overall, that was just such a fun way to change up my look, was just to do that winged eyeliner. Now question number 4 is, what was your journey of discovering your signature makeup look and how has it evolved over time? This question really got me to think, because I remember thinking, okay, I had my black winged eyeliner, I loved that so much, but it kind of evolved from that black eyeliner smudged kind of kohl pencil look, a la Gerard Way, and it evolved into my winged liner. And I think that was because as I was getting older, I wanted that black definition, that black line, but I didn't want it to look as messy as I was getting older. And so I think that's why eventually I went from like the smudgy black kohl liner to a winged liner. And I wore that like all through college, all through my first few years working. I've loved black wing liner. So I think that's how my personal style evolved. And then like I eventually like I got a little brave and I started like not doing the wing. So at first I kind of just lined my upper lash line and I wouldn't do the wing. And then I got kind of used to that. And then I eventually stopped wearing eyeliner altogether because I felt like it really helped open my eyes a little bit as I got older. And then I really got into like defining my lower lash line and wearing bright colors in my lower waterline. That's not to say I never do winged eyeliner anymore. I still do it every now and then and it looks really, really nice. But now it's more so like a date night, like a fancy kind of smoky eye kind of thing, and less of a every day I must do a wing before I leave the house kind of thing. Question number 5 is, what was your first ever Holy Grail product? And this made me a little sad because it's no longer available. Well, part of it is. So I went back to the very beginning of my YouTube channel because I wanted to look and see what was my actual first Holy Grail that I called a Holy Grail. And it was the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. That was such a good foundation. I have no idea why they discontinued it. It was such a good foundation. And the Holy Grail status became that when I mixed that foundation with Dermacol Makeup Cover. And I've got my shade right here right now. This was probably my second Holy Grail of all time by itself because it's such a powerhouse of a product. And it's just so good. So I mixed those two shades together and it was summer proof, it was sweat proof, it was transfer proof. It was just amazing. And so that was my Holy Grail, and then they discontinued that foundation and I've been sad ever since. Question number 6 is, what was your first big product fail? And honestly, 2 instances came to my mind immediately. Number 1, I tried out a green mascara from YSL. I did like a full face, an almost full face of YSL a few years ago. If you missed it, probably you missed it. I'll throw it up in the cards. Probably not that great quality, but forgive me. But I wore that green mascara to work one day and it rained and I found out the very hard way it's not waterproof. I came off of the train in Hoboken, just green streaking down my face. I had to run to a bathroom, take off my makeup, and then I had to like go to work. It was like the first time I went to work without makeup on and I was horrified. I can look back on it and laugh now because it is actually kind of funny. But at the time, I was horrified. And that was a terrible, terrible, terrible makeup fail for me. The second instance was a similar fail, but thankfully this one happened at home. So I could just redo my makeup afterwards. But it was the very last step in my routine. There was this setting spray from e.l.f. And I believe I was filming at the time. So let me see if I can throw in that clip right here.
Maybe. Oh no. You see that? I just got a speck right up here because I was trying to... Let's zoom in here. Let's just take a look. Oh, this looks amazing. It has been officially 2 minutes since I applied both this e.l.f. makeup mist and set to my face, along with the e.l.f. matte blotting mist, right? And this is what happened.
So yeah, that was my big fail. It totally ruined my makeup. I had to take everything off and redo everything. But thankfully it happened, when I was at home and I could do that and not when I was like touching up outside, because I would be so horrified if that happened like in the middle of my workday and I was just like touching my makeup up and that happened. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Question number 7 is, what or who introduced you to beauty content on YouTube? So for me, I remember specifically, I started out looking up like tricks and tips and techniques for reducing my under eye bags. I had really, really dark under eye bags in like my late teens, early 20s. And so that was the first thing I remember looking up on YouTube. And from there, I found like Michelle Phan and Bubs Beauty specifically. And then I watched their makeup videos and I was like, oh, these are like so like pretty and aesthetic. And that was kind of the gateway. And I just went straight off. I found Jaclyn Hill not too long after that. And then it was just beauty YouTube. So I remember specifically like those early videos where, the sound was terrible and the lighting wasn't great, but they were just people that were very passionate about beauty and they wanted to share their knowledge and learn from other people. And I just love that we still have a community here on YouTube that is still that. There's still people that are passionate, that are just passionate about learning, about makeup, about playing, about fun. And it's not all, you know, the big whatever hits the main page of YouTube. So question number 8 is, what makeup technique did you watch the most tutorials for on YouTube, and did you ever master the technique? So for me, this was the cut crease. And I watched so many tutorials, and cut creases were so difficult, especially because I have hooded lids and I'm completely self-taught makeup wise. I didn't go to school. I did nothing outside of like learn from YouTube tutorials, and cut creases were so difficult. They were so hard. I eventually got to a point where they looked okay. Like, it wouldn't ever be like perfect the way that I saw like Nikki Tutorials do one or Jaclyn Hill do one, but it was passable. It was definitely passable. It definitely helped too if you had like a glitter liner and you could like cover up your mistakes with glitter. I did that so many times, but it works and it looks cute. So yeah, I wouldn't say I mastered the technique, but I got pretty dang good at it. And that was just completely from watching YouTube tutorials. Question number 9 is, do you project pan? If so, what was the first product you consciously panned? So for me, that's like the main focus of my channel is project panning, because I love the challenge and I love what it can teach me. And the first product I completely panned was the Marc Jacobs Style Icon palette in Lolita. And that was back in 2018. Wow. So long ago. It was back in 2018, and I panned that over the course of a year. So I have that whole playlist. If you're interested, I'll throw it up on the cards. But I learned so much, and I had so much fun with it, that I still do pan that palette to this day in 2023. How crazy is that? How awesome is that? Now, the final question. This was actually inspired by my awesome subscriber community. So many of you reached out and said how much you appreciated the fact that I mention shade names in my videos when I talk about foundations and concealers, and how in my description box I list like my current MAC shade match. And I've heard from so many people that a lot of people that they love watching specifically don't mention shade names, and for them it makes it difficult for them to like then go out and shade match themselves, because a huge part of like looking up tutorials or looking up reviews is so that people can help with shade matching, especially now that a lot of shopping is done online in a post-COVID world. So I wanted to have the last question of this tag be, if you know it, what is your current MAC shade match? What is your current closest foundation shade match regardless of brand? Name 3 foundations, including the shade number or the name, and 3 concealers that work for you currently, just so that you can give your subscribers and your community a good idea of what shade you are, and if they're close, they can get some ideas on how to match. So my current MAC shade match is N4. Yeah, I'm pretty pale, pretty Casper-y. I'm gonna actually swatch these on my hand as we go, and then I will show you all the swatches towards the end, but this is MAC N4 and this is my MAC shade match. My current best like overall foundation shade match is from Shiseido, and this is the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation, and this is shade 110 Alabaster. So the top I have the MAC, the bottom I have my current best shade match from Shiseido. So to round that out to 3 foundations that match me, I have one drugstore favorite. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in the shade 105 Fair Ivory. And last but not least, I have from Misha, this is the Perfect Cover BB Cream in shade 13. So this first one is the MAC, the second one is the Shiseido, this is Maybelline, and this last one is the Misha. And I wanted to go ahead and show you guys from my iPhone as well. This is under my YouTube Studio lighting. All the way over here on the right is the MAC. The second to right is the Shiseido. The second to left is the Maybelline. And all the way to the left we have the Misha. And I know these look very different just on my hand like this, but when they're fully blended out on my face, each one of these works for me and I don't have to like lighten or darken or anything. All right, moving on to concealers. Concealers are a little bit tougher because typically brands will have a smaller shade range for the concealers, and you typically want to go slightly lighter for your under eye concealer shade if you're trying to cover up dark circles like I have. So my best shade match right now is actually from Armani, and this is the Luminous Silk Concealer in the shade 3.75. Shade 1 is not the lightest shade, unfortunately. It is 3.75. I will never understand why brands do that. So I will also swatch these on my hand as we go. So this is 3.75. It has a rosy undertone, which I've only recently started gravitating towards for concealers, because I thought it would look a little too pink on me, but I've noticed that it really does a better job of canceling out my under eye darkness than using a separate like color corrector and then putting concealer on top of it. So that's Armani. Next, I have from IT Cosmetics. This is the Bye Bye Dark Spots in the shade 12. Again, their lightest shade 11 is not the lightest shade. The lightest shade is actually 12. And this is a very warm shade, but this also does work on my under eyes. And last but not least, we have my earliest Holy Grail. This is the Dermacol Makeup Cover, and I currently use shade 208 for concealing. So here we have the concealer swatches. Up here we have the Armani, this is the IT Cosmetics, and this is the Dermacol. And again, each one of these works on my under eyes. So that is it for the hashtag Back to Beauty Basics tag. I hope you guys liked it. If there's anyone watching that would like to do this tag, please, I would love to see you do this tag. I'd love to see your answers to all of these questions. And here's the answer to which question was generated by ChatGPT. It was question number 4. So question number 4 was, what was your journey of discovering your signature makeup look and how has it evolved over time? That's the question that ChatGPT spat out, and I was actually very impressed by that because it really got me thinking. So I was very impressed, and I definitely want to do, like, I'm having so much fun with ChatGPT, honestly. If you missed my full chat, PTP meets GPT video, I'll throw it up in the cards, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I thought that was a very interesting addition to the rest of the questions that I came up with. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please tag your favorite creators to let them know they should do this tag, and let me know down below if you've done it, or if you don't have any social media and you just want to post it in the comments, please leave your answers down below. I can't wait to read through all of them. Thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.